for the ways that these challenges happen and when they can happen, right?
Yeah, and at this point, what we're in is a sort of procedural challenges. Whether the state is properly handling the mail ballots, keeping them segregated, whether, for example, in Pennsylvania, the state actually has a right to allow, or authority to allow voters to fix any defects in mail ballots. In Nevada, whether they should be using automated machines to check signatures. It's largely procedural questions at this point. Now, the difference, I think, is Nevada, if they ever get around to filing that lawsuit, they've talked about it a lot. It's not been filed yet. Apparently they're claiming, and I guess this is, again, a largely procedural question, they're saying that people were sent ballots, mail ballots, that were not registered or qualified to vote in the state, and they want to make sure that those votes don't get counted. But again, that's largely a procedural question. We haven't gotten to the stage of actually challenging individual ballots yet.
Let's talk about Michigan and Pennsylvania. The president's campaign is asking courts to stop the vote count until better access can be given to Republican supporters, to members of his campaign team. The Pennsylvania matter is kind of moving as we speak in terms of the counting that's happening right now at the Pennsylvania Convention Center in downtown Philadelphia. What can you tell us about what all this means exactly?
So my understanding is that the original lawsuit, I don't have it in front of me, but my recollection of it is they did not ask the counting to stop. The Trump campaign or the Republicans said, we want better access. An election judge initially said, you know what, I think you're getting pretty good access. Given the COVID restrictions, I wouldn't mind it, and maybe it's a good thing if the county gives you a little better access. That was appealed to the Commonwealth Court in Pennsylvania, which this morning said the Republicans have a good point. They should get better access. It was the county, Philadelphia County, that decided to stop the count while it appeals that to the state Supreme Court.
In Georgia, the challenge involves the handling of mail ballots, particularly some ballots that it seems like the Trump campaign is alleging were mixed in with other ballots but should have been disregarded. Explain that.
Right. I'm just looking at my list. Right. This is really asking the judge to remind everybody that's counting the vote that any ballots, Georgia is not one of those states that has an extension on the mail ballot period. So what they're saying to the county officials is remind everybody that late votes have to be kept separate because you can't count them. And they raised some concern, I'm not sure how persuasive the concern was, that one election judge thought he might have seen something that suggested that some of these late ballots were being mixed in. And of course, this is like improperly putting a drop of something in a swimming pool. How do you say take that drop back out again? Once you get these ballots mixed in together, that's the problem. I don't know how widespread that problem is. There's going to be a hearing on it. I think it's going on right now, and we'll see what happens there.
There was a report about the Justice Department telling federal prosecutors that the law prevents them from interfering with elections on election day, but that they could intervene with regards to potential voter fraud at poll counting locations afterward, including with armed federal officers, armed agents. Can you clarify that?
There is a statute that says that armed personnel can't enter polling places on election day. I've not seen this memo. I gather the way it's been described to me is that it says that only applies to polling places, not to places where ballots are being checked. So if you need to investigate potential crimes in polling places, there's nothing that says armed federal officers can't enter that. I've not seen any indication that that's actually being done anywhere.
Now, the Democrats have said that they are unfazed by all of this. They've been describing this as legal posturing from the Trump campaign, kind of a last-minute effort to prolong an election that, according to Biden supporters...
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम अस्सलाम वालेकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातहू। तमाम अहबाब तो कैसे हैं? असल में देखो, ये अब उर्दू में इलेक्शन की नशियात अभी इंग्लिश में आपने सुनी, अब उर्दू में शुरू हो रही है। उर्दू में ये है कि जो बाइडन जो है वो जीत चुका है और ये लोग जो हैं अभी घबरा रहे हैं, ऐलान नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। क्योंकि अभी लोगों की तैयारी नहीं है, रेडी नहीं है। लोग तोड़ फोड़ होगी और सालाना ढिमकाना दुकानों पे जो है वो कार्डबोर्ड वगैरह जो शीट होती हैं, वुड शीट होती हैं, वो लग रही हैं, सारी चीज़ें लग रही हैं, समझ रहे हैं आप। तो 12 तो जो बाइडन जो है वो जीत चुके हैं और ये अब कोर्ट लेके जाएंगे। वो जो पुरानी वाली जज थी वो मर चुकी है, अभी नई जो जज है इनकी वो इनकी है खरीदी हुई। तो ये सारा मसला हो रहा है। अगर ये ऐलान कर देते हैं कि जो बाइडन जीत गया तो यहाँ पर बहुत बड़े फसादात और सिविल वार जिसको कह लें आप वो शुरू हो जाएगी। तो जिसकी वजह से ये ऐलान नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, ऐलान नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। अब ये हर जगह से मतलब जो है धांधली चल रही है, ये चल रहा है, वो चल रहा है, ये सारी चीज़ें आप लोगों के सामने है। तो मैंने बोला थोड़ी सी आपको न्यूज़ भी दिखा देते हैं। और यहाँ चाय का वक्फा है, ब्रेक है, बच्चों की ऑनलाइन क्लासें चल रही हैं और हमने बोला चाय भी पीते हैं और इलेक्शन पे भी नज़र रखते हैं। और फिर इंशाल्लाह ताला अभी तो 12:20 हुए हैं। जी, आपका कोई सवाल हो तो ज़रूर आप करें। और क्या शुक्र है, ठीक ठीक, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। अब्दुल रज़ाक भाई हमें शिकागो से देख रहे हैं, तूबा काशिफ हमें फिलाडेल्फिया से ज्वाइन हुई हैं और दुनिया भर से जो लोग हैं हमें कमेंट करें कि आप क्या चाहते हैं, डोनाल्ड ट्रंप चाह रहे हैं या जो बाइडन चाह रहे हैं। तो हमें ज़रूर आप लोग अपने कमेंट भी करते जाएं कि आप लोग क्या चाहते हैं। यहाँ पे छोटा सा वक्फा है तो मैंने कहा आप लोगों के साथ आप लोग अपने कमेंट करें, डोनाल्ड ट्रंप या जो बाइडन।